What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Gakis, and today we're going to be showcasing a build that, unless Bungie has an unannounced nerf or change coming to it, will absolutely pop off in the new Renegades expansion for Destiny 2, which launches tomorrow. And that's because this build works unbelievably well with the new Lightsaber, the exotic Praxic Blade Sword coming with the Renegades expansion. Now, how do I know all this? Well, because I tried it. Shout out to Bungie for inviting me to the early access capture event, but I got to play Renegades, and this is one of the builds myself and other people were theory crafting with because the interactions are so absurd. Guys, I fully expect something in this build to be disabled for the new dungeon, and if it's not, I'm running it. So, what the heck am I talking about? Well, let's get started. Now, I should mention I'm partnered with Mobilytics, a fantastic source for Destiny 2 builds. I've put this build up on there, so if you want to check it out in an easy to read, easy to understand format, including dim links so you can copy it, definitely click the link in the description down below. So, the first thing we need to cover is the new exotic Praxic Blade. This is actually a special weapon. It's going to be in your kinetic slot, and I've already done a full video showcasing almost everything this thing can do. Check it out. It's linked right up above. But if you didn't see that video, a very quick summary here. What we're focusing on is that this sword actually has the blocking feature from Star Wars, where you are swinging the blade around and you are deflecting projectiles back at targets. Well, it turns out this absolutely does work with the Stronghold exotic gauntlets for the Titan. So these bad boys are the basis of our build. Now, what makes this so powerful? Well, the armor perk for the Stronghold is Clenched Fist. Maximizes guard stats on equipped swords. You take reduced damage while blocking with a sword. Rapidly damaging targets after blocking shots with a sword grants restoration for a duration determined by the number of shots blocked. So what this means in game is that you have infinite block with your sword. As you can see right here, as long as you're holding block, it will never run out. And so how you're supposed to use these is you hold block, you walk up to an enemy, and then you start swinging your sword and get restoration for a very defensive, survivable sword build. But everything changed. These exotics went from 0 to hero with the adjustment to the flash counter sword perk. Now, when this happened, I actually made a build guide on the invincible Stronghold Titan build because, yeah, this build allowed you to stroll through some of the hardest Grandmaster Nightfalls in the game, Psyops Battleground Nightfalls, where Savathun is pumping 10 bungillion damage into you. Doesn't matter, baby. You just hold block infinitely, and you can stroll through all that and still survive. But the reason all of this was so insane is, again, because of Flash Counter, because it now emits a short-range blast that disorients targets. Well, this blast actually does damage, and that damage counts as sword damage. And so the Stronghold actually thinks that you're swinging your sword, and that means you can hold block infinitely and be triggering flash counter, and when you hit enemies nearby, you trigger the restoration from the Stronghold. So you have infinite block that gives you more damage resistance than normal. Oh, and you have constant restoration because, again, you're able to do damage while blocking because of flash counter. You can actually combine this even further with the Storm's Keep aspect so that while you're doing that flash counter damage, oh, you're also actually triggering Bolt's Charge lightning strikes. And so you're able to do what you can see in the background gameplay where you are actually invincible, you basically can't die, and you're damaging enemies while you're invincible. Just a crazy combo. But this is with that kind of janky flash counter combo, guys. With the Praxic Blade, you don't need that at all. You literally shoot with your sword. So you are blasting projectiles back at targets while having infinite block, and those ranged projectiles from your Praxic Blade are triggering restoration. And so, again, it just makes the whole flash counter thing, which was so good it spawned this invincible build, it just makes it completely obsolete. Why would you go to the effort of doing the flash counter stuff when you can just deflect the bullets back with the Praxic Blade? It just makes the Storm's Keep Titan build have so much more offensive capabilities. You don't have to walk right up close and deploy your Storm's Keep barricade to get some damage. You literally just stand wherever you want and deflect the bullets right back at enemies from, again, across the map if you need to. On top of that, Bungie said during the live stream that there will be upgrades to the Praxic Blade that will allow you to put on certain keywords. They mentioned weaken. Guys, if you're able to be, again, infinitely blocking, getting constant restoration, getting some of the highest damage resistance in the entire game, oh, and you're shooting enemies back while you're doing that and weakening them as well, I mean, it's over. Like, that build is unkillable and has amazing offensive capabilities. And so again, that is why we are running the Stronghold Titan here. So obviously, we got the Stronghold. We are running in terms of the subclass Striker, Thunder Crash, always amazing. Obviously, you want a Rally Barricade. You've got Thunderclap here. You've got Pulse Grenade, extremely good because, of course, you have Storm's Keep. Then we've got Touch of Thunder, right? We're not really going to be meleeing with this build, so might as well buff up your grenades, and making your Pulse Grenade create Ionic Traces gives you more ability energy, which means more Pulse Grenades. Then we have Spark of Ions, so that your Pulse Grenades are defeating jolted targets or guys with Bolt Charge, because of Storm's Keep, will give you Ionic Traces. Then we've got Spark of Shot to make your grenades jolt, which is of course going to trigger Spark of Ions. We've got Spark of Resistance for even more damage resistance, and Spark of Frequency for more Bolt Charge, guys. Now on top of all of this, if you can believe it, Dielectric is coming back as a seasonal artifact perk. Now, this says that you defeat an arc debuffed enemy and you get all these benefits. You get healing, so that would trigger from our Pulse Grenade, defeating jolted targets. Very easy to do. What this actually did last time it was in the game is that it literally just healed you every time Bolt Charge went off. So if it works like it did last time, oh my god, you're even more invincible, guys. But on top of that, we actually did get a kind of a cool new weapon for this build with the Aurora Dawn. If you have one with flash counter, we talked about why this is so good with this build, but Cold Steel to accompany that, what it does is that when you trigger flash counter and you do the disorienting blast, it actually also inflicts slow. You do slow stacks with your flash counter blast. And so that means you can actually slow and freeze targets while you're holding block. Actually crazy, guys. But we're then using the Le Monarque. Now, why? Because the Le Monarque has a poison effect, damage over time effect. Damage over time weapons are unbelievably good with Storm's Keep because the game thinks you're shooting an enemy a bajillion times because of all the poison ticks. So it'll ramp up and trigger your bolt charge explosions, your lightning bolts, so much more often. And then after that, guys, I mean, the Mint Retrograde is just so good. Just whatever kind of primer you want for now. Obviously, the Mint and the Le Monarque will change the second you get the Praxic Blade. This build is set up to be functional until you get the Praxic Blade. As soon as you get that, swap off to the Praxic Blade, to the Lightsaber, and then you can pop off. And you can run that double sword combo if you want. So, hey, you run out of heavy, you use your Praxic Blade. You run out of ammo for your Praxic Blade, you switch to your heavy. You got two swords that work with the Strongholds, guys. Now, in terms of some of your stats here, your armor perks, I actually am going with the Smoke Jumper set because the 2-piece bonus will give you damage resistance for just picking up an Orb of Power. Super, super easy to do. And hey, more DR with this whole build, you literally are going to have like 100% DR at this point. Like, it's going to be crazy. Then for the stats here, you actually do want weapons. All of this is technically dealing damage with swords, which are classified as a weapon. So like all of the projectiles you reflect with your Praxic Blade will be impacted by your weapon's stat, guys. Then you do absolutely want 100 class, just so you can cast as many Storm's Keeps as you want, and then the rest is kind of up for you. I mean, I like 100 grenade because I am throwing those jolting, crazy pulse grenades. But looking at the armor perks here, you know, we've got Dynamo, of course, like we're gonna be really up close to enemies casting our Storm's Keep barricades. This is one that's gonna trigger a ton. Stasis Siphon, obviously this will change whenever I get the Praxic Blade. Then we've got a firepower grenade font, like kind of why not. Then we've got damage resistances based on what you're doing. Then we've got a recuperation double weapons font. Obviously that's just placeholder. Actually, it should probably, when you get the Praxic Blade, be changed to kinetic, increase in kinetic damage, is kinetic weapon surge. That will, again, just boost that reflected damage from your Praxic Blade. And then finally, guys, we've got a Reaper. Obviously, again, we're casting a lot of Storm's Keep barricades, very good. Time dilation as well, Bomber as well. And man, oh man, I'm excited for this build when Renegades launches. Like, again, I literally beat extremely hard Nightfalls, being the last guy alive, like clutched it for the team with the Invincible Stronghold build just because of Flash Counter. Just because Flash Counter did a minute amount of damage to enemies around you. And you're telling me I now just get a sword that just shoots enemies from across the map? Yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy, guys. I cannot wait to use this next season. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus, that is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.